Hey guys, Barrett here. Welcome back to another video. If you're a complete beginner in pickleball, or perhaps you've been playing for a couple of months and you're just not quite improving, you don't feel like you're just not getting up there, this is the video for you. I'm going to give you some super high-powered tips today that is going to help immensely. Stick around to the end of the video as well, because I've got a special free resource for you that's going to help out a lot. So let's get started. Now what I want to start with here is the third shot. Now you've probably heard of the third shot already. It is one of these super essential shots, but I'm going to try to make it a little bit easy for you. However, there is something about the third shot that's a little bit special, and it has to do with your feet. One thing that a lot of beginners have in common is they lack footwork skills. Now, most of the times when we talk about footwork skills, the majority of the times it's just actually getting your feet in position. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand straight up like this with a balanced position, okay? And I want you to lean to one side. So lean over to where you've got weight on this foot, and now try to take a step. It's very difficult to do, right? Now do the same thing, get in this position, but don't lean. Now take a step. It's much easier. This is what people do in pickleball all the time. They will start to swing at a ball and then try to move their feet. Well, here's a mantra that you will keep, that you will remember forever. Feet first, swing later. Feet first, swing later. And it comes up with the third shot all the time. So when you are doing the third shot, which is a very important shot in pickleball, you want to make sure that you're getting your feet in position first for the shot, and then you take your swing. Okay, watch. So this would be the return coming over. I'm going to watch it, get in position, and then take my stroke. All right, so watch. Ready for the ball. Here comes the return. Got my feet in position, and then I made the stroke. Now when it comes to the actual stroke itself with the third shot, it is a pretty important shot, right? What we want to do is introduce consistency into the shot. It's very important to keep away from jabbing the ball like this. Yeah. People will do this all the time. That is inconsistent, and what you're doing is you're introducing different types of power and different levels of power to the ball. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to swing with our shoulder, all right? And we're going to do a nice, smooth, buttery swing every single time. Don't be afraid to follow through. Watch. Okay, just like that. So you notice how I took a really big swing, right? But it was slow and smooth. It doesn't matter if you're taking a big loopy swing to the ball when you're doing the third. As long as you're coming through it smoothly and slowly, you'll be fine. You'll gain a ton of consistency when you do this. Okay, watch. Feet first. Nice smooth swing. Cool. That will help out a lot with the third. Let me show it to you from behind. Okay, I got you behind me now. Watch. Okay, just like that. Notice how I got in position first though. Don't get too excited. You got to get those feet ready. Awesome. Now here's the thing though. We can make beautiful third shots all day long if we want to, but if we don't actually get to the net, none of that matters. What's even more important than a good third shot is a good transition to the net. Now obviously this is for demonstration purposes. When you actually play a game, this is going to be different, of course, but I want you to just kind of notice what I do here. Now I want you to notice what happens here is I'm constantly judging how my shots are doing so that I know how to run up there, okay? So hit my third. I was a little high, so I got to kind of stay back. And here I am at the net. Now that's the whole goal, right? The whole goal is to get to the net. But what you have to understand is how good was your third. Now you'll know how good your third is based on its behavior over the net. So if the ball bounces really high over here like this, okay, that's going to be a bad third because your opponent can now hit down on it. The lower it is relative to the net, the better the shot's going to be. Or if the shot is coming quite low, and it lands near their feet. So transitioning isn't just about coming to the net. It's about understanding the position of your own third and what your opponent can do with it. Sometimes that requires a little bit of player knowledge. You kind of have to know who you're playing against. But when you really begin to understand this and assimilate into your own game, all of a sudden the third makes a lot more sense. So make sure you swing smoothly through the shot, transition up there, but be careful about how your third is behaving and what your opponent can do with it. The thing is though, is that if you're transitioning to the net, sometimes you'll get low shots right at you, as you've seen in some of this footage. And what that requires is the understanding of pace. So pace is just simply how fast is the ball coming over, or how fast am I sending the ball over? Let me show you. So this time around, I'm the one that's going to be feeding the third here. So I'm doing the return, and then Linda here is going to do the third. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to pace. Now, did you notice how hot that ball came up off her paddle? That is pace. But do you also notice how she didn't really swing hard at it? That is acceptance of pace. And when you're transitioning to the net like that, you have to get used to that. You can't just smack the ball hard. You have to use your opponent's pace to get the ball over. You don't have to add anything. Just use your opponent's speed instead.
Yeah, that's perfect.
What we're doing here is we're constantly trying to gauge each other's pace so that one of us doesn't pop up the ball. This takes a lot of work and a lot of practice, but I just want to show you a couple of tips here. Watch how I come to the kitchen, okay? Do you see how I barely nudged that ball over here? Just barely nudged it. It's because she was hitting a shot down on me there. You see that? See that little nudge? You have to trust the pace that's already on the ball to get it back over. If you're just smacking stuff nilly-willy and you don't have any control, you're never going to get better. Okay, it is all about understanding that pace. Now, similarly to that, we have to talk about pop-ups. Pop-ups are the bane of a lot of beginner pickleball players, and understandably so. I was a complete beginner when I first started playing. No racket sports experience or anything. So I get it. I was there. Now, there's a couple things we want to focus on when it comes to pop-ups. The stuff with the pace absolutely applies, okay? So if we're dinking back and forth, and I pick up the pace a little bit, Linda has to be very careful by hitting the ball too hard. She's going to hit it less hard. So Linda's going to be very careful here about popping it up. She knows I'm going to put pace on the ball eventually, because that's kind of the point. Oh, but did you see that though? See that block? That's the key. That's the reset. She knew it was coming, so she trusted the fact that my ball had pace on it. And that's the game of pickleball right there. Now, a couple of tips about stopping pop-ups. The big thing is the grip. Understandably, a lot of people have these death grips on the paddle like this. You can kind of maybe able to see the paddle shaking. That is definitely not what you want, okay? Let go of this paddle. I want you to literally feel like you're letting go of the paddle. If you want a cool little trick, only hold the paddle with your thumb and index finger just for fun. Keep the rest of your 3 fingers off and just dink this way and get used to the way it feels. Just like this. It is a crazy feeling. I mean, the ball feels like it's going nowhere. So try that to give yourself that soft hands feeling, and while keeping the pressure on those two fingers, then wrap your other fingers around and keep playing. And try to get used to not squeezing the paddle so hard. That's going to help out immensely. With those two things, with the understanding of pace and with letting go of your paddle, you will have far more control over the ball in pickleball. When you have more control of the ball, you'll be able to place the ball better. When you're able to place the ball better, you have more control of your opponents. When you have more, can you see where this is going? You'll win the game, right? So that's how you get out of that beginner zone. Promise you guys, this kind of stuff will turn heads. You're going to gain a lot more respect in your local area. Try these things out. Now, I mentioned that I had a special resource for you, so make sure you click over here to check that out. It's all about paddles. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate you. If you liked the video, boop that like button, and I will see you soon.